Hey guys, and welcome to another episode where we'll be looking at the audience theory of Stuart Hall's reception theory. Stuart Hall is a well-known theorist for looking at how audiences respond to media texts. And this takes us further in how we defined what an audience can be in previous episodes, looking at demographics, so considering age, sex, location, and also psychographics, aspirers, explorers, mainstreamers, etc., considering the characteristics of the individual. Rather now, considering Hall's theory, we would be able to state what response or reading the audience has towards the text, product, or service. Stuart Hall argued that audiences would decode the text or product and therefore have a reading of one of three outcomes. An audience would be preferred, negotiated, or oppositional. And consider it almost like a traffic light. A preferred reading would be where an audience who agrees with the product or service, they agree to the concept and love what it's offering. They are often in support of it and will back it. They'll buy it and even, no doubt, tell others about it. They're very positive about it. And this is referred to as a preferred reading. Secondly, we have what's called a negotiated reading. A negotiated reading is where the audience understands it, the advert or the product, for example, but they might not be as convinced to put themselves into a preferred reading. They might have hesitations, possibly the price, possibly the brand itself, or even the ethics of the company. It could be many things, and price is often a factor here, as audiences love the product, but they wouldn't buy it due to affordability, so they are negotiated. Consider a negotiated reading as an audience who almost sits on the fence. They're halfway. They're not completely sold on the idea. They keep a distance. So again, in traffic light terms, they're kind of an amber in between. Our last audience response, or audience reading here, is oppositional. And as you've probably guessed, it comes with quite negative connotations. An oppositional audience reading is where the audience opposes, hence the term opposition, the idea or the concept of the brand, the product or the service. They don't support it. They won't be likely to buy it. They might even often campaign against it, possibly with stronger feelings towards the ethics of the company or the product itself. Think of these audiences who really object to it, possibly going as far as hating it. Again, could this be kind of the result of a bad experience with a previous product? So there we have our three readings: preferred, negotiated, and oppositional. Stuart Hall argues that an audience will respond with ideally one reading. It's very unlikely that they will be both a preferred and a negotiated. So try and keep them to one bracket in any analysis you do. A good acronym to use here might be NOP or PON. It just helps to spell out those three variations or readings as something to remember quite easily. If we take a step back here and think as a company and not an audience, who do you think out of these three, from an advertising perspective, the company is best to target? Let's say we are Apple. We're a very well-known technology brand. We're releasing a new product, let's say a phone. Should we, as a company, target our marketing, our advertising, towards audiences with a preferred reading? Should we continue to meet their needs and make them the focus of our new product? Or should we target those who are on the fence about our phones? Maybe they are Samsung users or Nokia users, or they own another competing brand, or they owned a previous Apple device and then left us. Should our efforts be targeting negotiated audiences and trying to win them back over? We know they'll be close, they're on the fence. But this is where perhaps our marketing efforts and money is best spent, and don't forget, often worldwide. Or lastly, could we argue as a company like Apple, we really need to go after those who oppose our brand, the people who are dead against us, perhaps who have never bought from us, or that our products are too expensive or badly designed. Should our new product have more or better features to justify the price, or kind of answer the fears that our oppositional audiences might have? So that's an interesting dilemma. Think about this in terms of the company. Would Apple be best to use their millions of dollars in advertising going after a preferred, negotiated, or oppositional audience when launching a new product? What would you do? And this is often why we see thousands of comments in response to the latest social media advert. All that is happening here is audiences are revealing their reading. Audiences with preferred readings, often we call them fanboys, they'll be arguing against oppositional audiences and vice versa. Negotiated audiences might give reasons for and against in the same comment thread, asking sometimes for advice or even proof as to why they should consider it. And we spoke about this in a previous episode. Audiences have power. In today's world, they're no longer passive, they're active, they're talking, they're discussing. And these discussions, especially online, are key for companies to listen to and to take note of. And like everybody, Apple included, they of course monitor and take note of customer feedback. So although Stuart Hall's theory is useful to categorize audiences into how they respond with their reading, we can also see maybe how companies themselves will consider its use. And maybe that it's tougher than first thought. The example I gave with Apple, and let that be independent of any thoughts you might have about the brand. If you were Apple or Nike or any large-scale brand, which would you be choosing? Should we market our product or our service towards our preferred, our negotiated, or our oppositional audiences? That's tough, and that's a huge responsibility. And often this is where marketing is so vital to get the right message across to the right reading of audience. It's very doubtful that Apple or any company could create one single advert to address the needs of all three readings. Think about it. So I hope that's been useful in defining audiences even further with Stuart Hall's reception theory. And it can be applied to anything: a film poster, a music video, even a birthday card. Any product we can assume has a target audience will initially create a reading, and again, one of those three. Perhaps use this way of thinking to take your understanding of audiences from Young and Rubicam's analysis further. For example, a magazine which offers new and different ways of cooking could be deemed to have a preferred reading from explorers, who, as we know, like to try new things. Or a film with not so well-known acting cast or actors could have an oppositional reading from mainstreamers. Mainstreamers like to trust well-known brands and items which are recognizable. If the actors don't fit the mainstreamers' criteria of needs, we would conclude maybe mainstreamers wouldn't be a preferred audience. See what we did there? The combination of those two theories, Young and Rubicam's 4Cs theory and Stuart Hall's reception theory, deepens your analysis and ability to analyze audiences. And think about using this in any further analysis you do. It gives you more evidence and it gives you a greater theoretical understanding. Guys, I hope this has been helpful. Thanks for subscribing and supporting the content. Please feel free to keep sending in your questions and comments. Until next time, take care and stay safe. See you soon.